What's going on, everyone? I hope you're doing well. And today I want to talk about Keffals and this whole Kiwi Farms business because I've been paying attention to it a little bit in passing, but it's much crazier than I thought it was when I started looking into it a little bit. Keffals is a very interesting person to say the least, and I kind of wanted to just go through it because it really is fascinating, I promise you. But before we get into today's video, I got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Raycon. So you guys know that I swear by Raycon. I have been partnered with them for over 2 years, and their products are just constantly improving. I'm a guy that wouldn't usually use earbuds that often. I would use them when I needed them, use them in very niche moments and stuff, but I've been finding myself more and more replacing them over the other type of headphones that I have. Like, these are the real deal. They absolutely look great in the ear. They fit extremely comfortably with their optimized gel tips, and so you can just move around as much as you want. You can headbang, windmill, do whatever you want. They offer 8 hours of playtime and 32 hours of battery life. Raycons are priced just right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. Like, I'm serious. They're half, and they sound better in my opinion. Two of the coolest things about these everyday earbuds is that they have different sound profiles. They have the pure sound, the balanced sound, and the bass sound. And the other thing is the noise isolation and the awareness mode. You can turn it on or off by the click of a button. The premium quality mixed with all the features and the great price, it's no wonder that Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 50,000 5-star reviews. So what are you waiting for, guys? Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/SBG to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Go do it, guys. Thank me later, and thank you, Raycon.
Supreme victory!
Now, I've only been aware of Keffals for a couple months now, something like, I don't know, maybe in the spring of this year. I'm sure she's been around for quite some time. And if you don't know who Keffals is, she's a Twitch streamer, a trans Twitch streamer, and has gained a lot of notoriety by ratioing people on Twitter. That was like her main existence. So like just getting, trying to get popular, trying to get, famous off of dunking and stuff. All that stuff on Twitter that I've just grown so weary of. I mean, back in 2016, all that stuff, it was kind of fun, but then it just got a little exhausting. I'm like, who cares? I just want to, search up memes and whatnot and not try to go after people and quote tweet them and try to dunk on them or ratio them or whatever. I don't really care about that stuff. If something like that naturally happens, fair enough, but the people that kind of go out of their way, they follow people specifically, they have their notifications on just to try to get there and ratio them and all that stuff. I'm just like, whatever, man. It is what it is. It's not for me. But recently, Keffals has gained a ton of notoriety because there has been this website, Kiwi Farms, that has existed for years, that has been the bane of a lot of people's existence. There's a lot of threads just compiled on people, basically profiling all these people, usually like locals, but then other people that, maybe they don't like them. And a lot of weird stuff has happened because of it, doxing, releasing all this information that shouldn't be public. Some people have apparently offed themselves from the humiliation and the harassment because some of the people that partake in websites like this, they do participate in harassment because there's a difference between, just talking trash and poking fun at people and then actually just stalking people online, constantly messing with them, getting them swatted or whatever. There's just, they take it a step too far. And a lot of people had wanted this website gone. And Keffals was actually able to do it by raising the alarms, by just, essentially getting swatted, or so she claims, which I'll mention in a bit, and then just being constantly harassed every step of the way and happened to hit up the parent company that was hosting Kiwi Farms. Their name escapes me at the moment, but, it's not really relevant. But they were hosting Kiwi Farms, protecting them from DDoS attacks and whatnot. And enough pressure was applied for Kiwi Farms to finally be removed. And Kiwi Farms is pretty much in limbo because essentially, if they ever come back and get another host, Keffals and her fan base will pretty much just do it again. So it seems like Kiwi Farms is gone. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. I didn't care about forums like that or threads like that, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time on those things that are very upset. But whatever about that. Now, the thing that's really interesting to me is all the videos that I've seen, because I was wondering why there were so many people that disliked Keffals. I would see in passing that there was like, oh, she's this, she's that, she sucks, she's a terrible person, and I'm like, this is interesting. So I had to like kind of go out of my way. I had to actually watch some of Destiny streams because Destiny is beefing with Keffals. I had no idea why. And essentially, it comes down to Keffals kind of being a trash person. And I'm like, oh, there is some validity to this. Like, Keffals accusing Destiny of being a pervert, of being a pedo, or being a predator. Like, just these allegations that are just wild and things that you shouldn't just throw around on willy-nilly, man. That's what YouTube is so notorious for doing that. Even though Keffals is a Twitch streamer, it's like these people are they're so quick to just throw around these words and try to ruin people's lives, and genuinely ruin lives, because Keffals claimed Destiny got banned from Twitch for a while or something like that, and Keffals took the blame. She claimed it. Seriously, since basically tried to destroy his whole livelihood just from Destiny criticizing her a little bit. Like, there was just this tweet about, ratioing people is really helping trans people and their mental health issues or something. Something that sounds really silly on the surface. Imagine, Keffals ratioing people is really helping trans people in any way, shape, or form. It's not the ratioing part. There's other things that she's done that has helped, I'm sure, raising money and whatnot. But like the ratioing part is just it's all theatrics, right? It's just all like about trying to gain some more fame and stuff like that. It doesn't help trans people. It doesn't. Maybe it helped this person, but this person's obviously not all there. That made the tweet. So Destiny just quote tweets and said, this is like the cringiest thing I've ever seen or whatever. And because of that, Keffals tried to destroy Destiny. And I'll make it clear, I don't care about Destiny. He's proven to me that he's kind of a dickhead too. I mean, just going back to like the days where he used to just, anyone who's even possibly associated with the far right or anything is just the biggest piece of trash ever. Like, oh, I can't believe you would even talk to this person. They dog whistle to people on the right or whatever. I've had encounters with this guy before, just like, oh, you're saying nice things about JonTron. You're the worst person ever. And like, meanwhile, he's hanging out with Lauren Southern and Nicholas J. Fuentes. And I'm like, okay, this is who this guy is. So I just want to let you know that I'm not a Destiny fan. Technically, I'm indifferent. I don't really think about him or anything like that. I don't have any feelings where I'm like, oh, this guy. But just, looking into this guy, I'm like, oh, he doesn't have any. There's no real moral compass with this dude. It's just all about what's popping, what's hot right now. Oh, it's hot to do this right now. Oh, it's this is edgy. This is cool. This is what he's about and stuff. So it's not like much different, But at least one thing that he's not doing is like Keffals seems to just be lying about almost everything that's going on. Like, oh, you slighted her in some way, shape, or form. She will lie to get your livelihood and your online presence destroyed. And it is well documented by a lot of people. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty messed up. And then when it comes to like the swatting stuff and everything that's been happening, there's just a lot of inconsistencies that is really weird. And I think that is one of the most craziest things because, people who tell the truth, right? They have the same story. Multiple people can have different stories about one singular event, right? But those are multiple people. individuals will see things from their perspective. Things happen so fast and they saw it this way. But at least what will happen is those people will have one consistent story. They're all different, but their story is consistent because they're telling the truth of what they saw or what they remember. Keffals is one person and is having multiple stories about one singular event. That's very strange. It's very, very strange. It's very, as the kids say now, sus about like what actually happened with the swatting or whatnot. Conflicting testimonies from her own mouth. I mean, that's weird, right? Because when I first heard about all this stuff and the swatting and everything, I had no reason not to believe her. People get swatted all the time. Like it's a messed up thing, but people do get swatted all the time. So it's like I have no reason not to believe that she got swatted. You know, like I've known people that have gotten swatted in Canada. She lived in Canada, and like it's different from American swatting, sure. But the premise is the same, right? Somebody calls in a thing and they need to go check it out and they need to go investigate or whatever. And essentially that's what happened. But events of what also happened and the aftermath of it too has not added up to. Just little things here and there saying, oh, they disrespected me, they dead named me and all this stuff. But then in another instance saying that it didn't happen. And it's just like, all right, what is the truth here? Something is not right. And a lot of people are more suspicious and more looking into her because she raised so much money after the swatting happened. She raised I think 100K on GoFundMe, and she needed to relocate and everything. She relocated to the UK. She's somewhere in the UK. I know where she is specifically, but I guess it doesn't need to be said unless she's talked about it publicly and whatnot. Maybe she has. I haven't looked too deep into it, but I just know from seeing information that like, oh, something got leaked that she's here. And the weird thing is, you know, when you're fearing for your life, and one of the reasons why she needed this money, she needed to flee because there's people, you know, trying to come after her, and there had been some threats on Kiwi farms. I do find it a little strange that she's so publicly just showing herself. You know, for people that are really fearing for their lives and they need to be hide out, they wouldn't be doing interviews. They wouldn't be doing, like, she's doing all of this stuff. And what is so, like, not safe about that, if she's genuinely worried about, you know, somebody coming after her or doing something or harming her. I mean, they found her by doing that same stuff that they did with, what do you call it? He Will Not Divide Us. You guys remember that with Shia LaBeouf? The way they kept finding the flag was nothing short of incredible. Like, just in absolute insanity that they were able to find this person or find this flag, find these locations. And people did essentially the same thing to Keffals. And it's like, all right, so you would obviously need to not show anything about yourself, to not give people any idea of where you're at. But that's not what Keffals has done. So with all that being said, it just seems so strange how things have played out. And there's plenty of other things that are personal and other allegations of things that she's been involved in that is not really important to the story. But say maybe if you were a fan of Keffals, maybe you'd want to look more into it and stuff, because this person, I don't know, man. Because like it's just an interesting story. And to kind of tie this all together, it really reminds me of, and I know this is a dead subject, but it's kind of not, Gamergate. The way that things kind of rolled out with Gamergate, it kind of reminds me of this a little bit because of how big it's gotten, and the way that things are being remembered. Because pretty much what seems like what's going to happen is, Keffals will be remembered and seen as a hero to people who obviously hate things like Kiwi farms and people who SWAT and all this stuff. But there's also a lot of complicated things that's going on with the person that is Keffals, right? Like when you remember Gamergate, you remember people that were involved in, like Zoe Quinn, Brianna Wu, and whatnot. These people, not the best people, but to their constituents, to their friends, their peers, and whatnot, they're gonna back them no matter what. And it's not to say that some of the stuff that they were saying about being harassed and stuff, wasn't all true. Like, you know, they were talking about being harassed and all these things that were happening that there was some credibility to it, is what I'm trying to say. And that's stuff that I wasn't really paying attention to while that whole thing was going on, because I was specifically focused on the corruption. And when people actually use it, they use it now almost as a pejorative now by just saying journalistic integrity, or they say ethics in gaming or whatever. Things that I was genuinely worried about, because I was someone who actually consumed a lot of gaming media on the websites and whatnot, and saw the writing on the wall and seeing what was happening and seeing all these people were conspiring together to just trash their demographic. Like, we all saw it happening in real time. And there was only a few gaming websites that stayed away from it. Like, Games Radar was one of them that I like. At least Games Radar has been pretty legit, but like, everybody was affected by it. Kotaku, Polygon, Rock Paper Shotgun, like, just all the biggest outlets just turned into garbage. We all saw it happen. That's what I was focusing on. I wasn't focusing on the 4chan type of people that were actually doxing and doing all this stuff. I wasn't really aware of that. Later on, I was, but the unfortunate thing is that became the entire representation of what Gamergate was. It's just that. It's just a harassment campaign against women and yada yada, and nobody paid attention to the stuff that anybody was saying that had some credibility. Like, even within a lot of the toxicity, there were people like myself and plenty of other YouTubers that were trying to bring some real stuff to light about, look at what the gaming industry is doing. Something needs to be done. This shit needs to be cleaned up, right? But then all of that was ignored. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening with Keffals, where there is inconsistencies with the story, and there's seems to be some validity to what some of the people are saying about her. They're like, she's not a good person. Looking into what's going on with Destiny and her, Destiny seems to be in the right, and allegedly it seems like he talked about possibly suing her. I don't know if it'd be for defamation or whatever, but it's just, that's something that I saw within one of his streams, and it's just kind of nuts. But like, the media is not focusing on any of that. The larger creators that are talking to her and celebrating what she's been able to do, they're not talking about that or any of the stuff that's been going on, so it's like they're kind of platforming somebody who's a little iffy, and it's just been kind of a fascinating story. I feel like, say, a lot of you would probably get a kick out of it, but I would say the biggest problem is, from my little bit of searching that I've done, there isn't like just a well-documented just streamline of everything that's been happening. There's little stuff here and there, and then a lot of people are doing live streams, and there's just a lot of dead air and a lot of just whatever, and it's like, nobody wants to listen to that, dude. Like, that's just like background noise, right? So you kind of just waiting for somebody to compile something together that is just easily consumable. People understand it, they get it, and they just see the timeline, it all matches up, and then people can be like, wow, this is a very fascinating story, because it is to me. Like, the whole Kiwi, because like I said, a lot of people tried to take down Kiwi Farms and have been unsuccessful, and she got it done. So what it seems like to me, and like in Gamergate, no matter what, this person seems like a powerful asset, and her sins and flaws will be forgiven or ignored even, just to have this asset, this ace, which is the way that I saw Gamergate, where look what these people accomplished. Look what somebody like Anita Sarkeesian was able to accomplish, raising tons of money for herself, being a part of so many different things, working with Neil Druckmann and so people that she had no business being associated with, but she was an asset. So no matter what she's done, any of the grifting or any of the lying, like any of that, it didn't matter. She was a great asset. She pushed things forward, especially with a lot of corporations that were looking to throw money at people for this cause, of the fake feminism that was trying to, like, oh, we're trying to make things better for women in games. They weren't trying to do shit, right? They weren't really trying to do anything. It's just window dressing. It's like when the faceless corporation says they're for this cause and whatnot. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you are, bro. I'm so sure you are. Anyway, that's all I got for this. I just wanted to put this out because I really do think it is way more interesting than I thought it actually was. Because at first I was like, oh, that's weird. Oh, Kiwi Farms is gone. That's interesting. Like, well, later. And no, this is pretty insane. But if you guys have any other information, maybe some key stuff that I'm missing, please drop in the comment section. Because, like I said, I haven't done huge deep dives, but I did a fair amount of just looking around trying to figure out what I can find out about this. And yeah, there's some weirder shit that I just didn't mention. So if you guys want to look into some stuff, man, search it up. I promise you, you won't be bored. But that's it. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one.